is this man? Why is he important to you as Rambler salesman? And who is this woman? And why is she important to you? Husband and wife? Yes. Mom and dad? Yes. But why are they important to you? Because they are Mr. and Mrs. Prospect 1958. They are important because their characteristics and their motoring needs are typical of 3 out of 4 families who will buy a new car in the next 10 months. To know them, to know where they live, and how they use their car, is to know the needs of the great majority of families who make up your market. So right now, let's take a look at Mr. and Mrs. Prospect 1958. They enjoy a comfortable standard of living, live in an attractive neighborhood, and make most of their major purchases on credit. They have children who attend a school which is roughly 2 miles from their home. Dad is an active golfer, hunter, bowler, and like many other wonderfully adventurous people, an avid member of the Try It Yourself First Club. As a family, they enjoy frequent weekend picnic outings and, like most people, have the opportunity for one long vacation trip every year. On the working side of the ledger, we find that Dad drives several miles to his place of business about 5 days a week, while Mom makes about 2 trips a week to her shopping center some few miles away. This transportation, typically, is furnished by one car. It's 3 years old, and it's in our price class. But they plan on trading this car for a new one, and they plan on doing it this year. Now, why are these characteristics of Mr. and Mrs. Prospect important to you? They're important because, in some way, they determine or affect how Mr. and Mrs. Prospect use their car and what Mr. and Mrs. Prospect expect from their car. How does Dad use the car? Dad uses the car primarily for his daily trip to and from work, and occasionally for a longer trip out of town. What does he need from his car? Economy, small car handling ease, and big car comfort and convenience. But how about Mom? How does she use the car? Being a housewife and mother, Mom's driving is limited to shopping, visiting friends, and getting the children to school. That is, if Dad can get a ride with a co-worker. So what does she need from her car? The same things as Dad. Economy, small car handling ease, and big car comfort and convenience. And of course, there's something they both want and are going to get this year. A brand new car. Will it be a Rambler? It should be, once we know where to find Mr. and Mrs. Prospect 1958 and how to sell them. What are the actual names and addresses of Mr. and Mrs. Prospect 1958, and where do we find them? Finding these people is comparatively easy. One of the oldest selling tools in the business is your competitive owner registration lists. These owners, combined with the names of American Motors owners on your Operation Postman list, represent your best prospect source. In addition, the friends and neighbors of your more recent buyers and the names you receive from your own business contacts and bird dogs are also excellent prospects. Why? Because Mr. and Mrs. Prospect actually are all the owners of 2, 3, and 4-year-old cars in your price class. These owners make up your most fertile market for 1958. Now, let's talk about how to sell them. As Rambler salesman, you know your 1958 product, its features, and its advantages. You also know who your best prospects are and what their motoring needs are. Your next step? Fit your product's advantages to your prospect's needs. Take salesman Jim Canfield, for example. Through preliminary qualifying, Jim has learned that one of his prospects, a Mr. Koenig, is a salesman for a local concern. He knows that Mr. Koenig spends 5 and sometimes 6 days a week driving the city streets. Let's see how Jim fits the product's advantages to the prospect's needs.
And Rambler has a number of other new advantages for 58, which you will really like, Mr. Koenig. As a traveler, aren't you interested in how much it costs to operate your car?
I sure am. I haven't been too concerned with my present car, but these new ones really eat up the gas, according to some of my friends, especially in city driving.
Not the Rambler, Mr. Koenig. Rambler's traditional penny-a-mile economy, lower upkeep, and high trade-in value mean that you could operate a Rambler from $150 to $450 less per year than comparably priced cars. That's economy you put in the bank, Mr. Koenig. And Rambler gives you economy in time, also.
Time? How do you mean?
Well, I imagine you have your share of fighting traffic and hunting for parking space.
That's my problem.
But it will not be your problem when you drive a 58 Rambler. Rambler's short turning radius, combined with steering ease, provides maneuverability for the easiest, quickest parking in America. Anti-friction bearings and wide front tread provide undreamed of steering ease. The Rambler slips into parking spaces that others pass up. You save time that can be used profitably. And Rambler offers you still another big plus, Mr. Koenig. Being a salesman myself, I know how important a fresh, neat appearance is. Mr. Koenig, what's the inside of your car like after it's been parked in the sun for an hour?
Well, you know the answer to that one as well as I do.
I sure do. And I also know the solution. Rambler all-season air conditioning. Cools in the summer, heats in the winter, and ventilates and filters all year round. The 1958 Rambler.
Yes, Jim Canfield knows how to keep a sale moving toward a successful close. Fit the product's advantages to the prospect's needs. But we must remember that everyone's needs are personal. Do-it-yourself fans, for example, will be interested in such things as the power lock differential, self-cooling brakes, power saver fan, and the exclusive Televac. To help sell these people, use your data book, your AMC prospect system, and your salesman's handbook inserts as guides to Rambler's 1958 advantages and benefits. Pre-planning such as this really pays off. Salesman Herb Sands knows the value of pre-planning. Herb makes a special point of knowing his prospect's needs and interests before he calls on them. For example, take prospect Hodges. Sure, Mr. Hodges has needs that are the same as almost any car owner, but he also has personal needs which Herb knows of and uses during the contact.
And besides all the fine advantages I've mentioned, Rambler gives you certain exclusives for your personal needs, Mr. Hodges. First, there's Rambler's single-unit construction, improved for 1958. No other comparably priced car has this feature. Traveling the side roads as much as you do, Mr. Hodges, can be mighty rough on a car, and not to mention the passengers. Single-unit construction is a real plus for sportsmen like yourself. And coupled with this is Rambler's exclusive full-dip process of thorough rust-proofing. Together, they assure long and trouble-free car life. And when you get to your favorite hunting spot, you can take advantage of another exclusive feature, Rambler's twin travel beds. You sleep in comfort and convenience, free from weather and hard ground, and there's no time and effort spent in setting up a tent and what have you. Any way you look at it, Mr. Hodges, Rambler's single-unit construction, full-dip rust-proofing, and twin travel beds are a combination with big benefits for an outdoorsman such as yourself. I have twin travel beds on my car outside. Come on out and I'll show you how convenient they are.
Yes, a different individual with different needs, but the selling technique remains the same. Know your prospect, know your product, and then fit the product's advantages to the prospect's needs. But you know, prospects are not only different as to needs, they're also different as to sex. And the little woman plays a big part in the decision to purchase a car. Now, what particular needs would she have? Well, she needs convenience. And this need can be satisfied with such things as Rambler's push-button transmission, step-on parking brake, power steering, power brakes, and power windows. She also needs comfort. Comfort which can be given by Rambler's all-season air conditioning, airliner reclining seats, and the new seat adjustment control. And last, but not least, you know that she needs appearance. The pleasing appearance that's afforded by Rambler's jet stream styling, tasteful upholstery combinations, and beautiful interior appointments. Yes, a woman needs these things. And salesman Tom Crisp knows this. So after satisfying the husband's needs, he presents those Rambler advantages which he knows will appeal to the wife. He's ready to present appearance and comfort now. So let's listen in.
Yes, Mr. Carson, the Ambassador by Rambler is the car for you in many ways. And by the same token, the Ambassador gives you, Mrs. Carson, the styling, comfort, and sense of luxury which is so much a part of our living today. This is truly a fashionable car. Notice the long, low sweep of line, which gives it that feeling of hidden motion. The Ambassador's Jetstream styling is the perfect blending of massive beauty and stylish simplicity, a combination which exactly fits the desires of people like yourself who want modern living at its finest. And as you discovered during the ride, Mrs. Carson, this combination is found inside the car, too. Big car room and luxury are yours the moment you set foot in the Ambassador. And remember, Mrs. Carson, the Ambassador for 1958 gives you everything larger cars have, plus one very important thing they don't have: handling ease. You'll have no more parking battles or long delays in heavy traffic. Fingertip driving is a fact with the Ambassador. In short, this exclusive combination of big car room and luxury and small car handling ease is made to order for those who want easy and gracious living. I know that you folks will appreciate this fine car more than any other.
Yes, Tom Crisp, you also practice and find successful the selling technique of fitting the product's advantages to the prospect's needs. And so will we all, if we remember to pre-plan our contacts in light of each individual prospect's needs and desires. And in our prospecting, let's not forget that smaller but rapidly growing market made up of two-car families. Their needs for a second car are often similar to the needs of a one-car family. Yes, you do have the product advantages to meet your prospect's needs. For whether it's a one-car, two-car, or multiple-car family, Rambler for 1958, the only car with the 7 better differences, the only car with the best of both, is the only car with the advantages that best fit today's driving needs. So select those prospects whose characteristics and needs place them in the market for a new car now. Select those Rambler advantages that best fit their needs, and then fit the product's advantages to the prospect's needs. If you do, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect 1958 will buy.